Book Summary of Consider Phlebas by Iain M. What if the fate of entire civilizations came down to a single mind, hiding in the wreckage of a fallen world, and the only one who can find it is a shape-shifting killer who hates everything it stands for? Welcome to Consider Phlebas, the explosive entry point into Iain M. Banks's legendary culture series, a sweeping space opera where ideology clashes with instinct and empathy fights for survival against cold efficiency. This is no typical sci-fi adventure. This is a brutal, mind-bending journey across war-torn galaxies that dares to ask what it truly means to be civilized. At the center of this interstellar epic is Horza, a shape-shifting mercenary who belongs to the Changers, a rare species capable of altering their physical appearance at will. Horza is no ordinary protagonist. He's bitter, cynical, and fiercely loyal. Not to the benevolent culture, but to the ruthless Eidorons, a religiously devout warrior race locked in a savage war against the culture's artificial intelligences and liberal ideals. To Horza, the culture represents everything soulless about modernity. Cold machines dictating the future, stripping away purpose and belief. The Idirans, though brutal, fight with conviction. And Horza has thrown in his lot with them. The story begins with death. Literally, Horza is captured by the culture after a failed mission and sentenced to execution. But fate intervenes when a culture warship is attacked. Horza survives, only to find himself stranded in deep space. He's rescued by a ragtag crew of pirates aboard a ship called the Clear Air Turbulence, led by the charismatic yet volatile Craiklin. It's an uneasy alliance. Horza is playing a dangerous game of survival, all while hiding his true allegiance and identity. But Horza's mission is far from over. He's been tasked by the Idorans to recover a fugitive culture mind, a hyper-intelligent AI who abandoned its ship and went into hiding on the forbidden planet Shar's World. The problem is, Shar's World is off-limits, guarded by ancient godlike beings known as the Dratazon. Entering it means gambling not just with one's life, but with the wrath of entities older than memory. What follows is a dizzying odyssey across a universe steeped in war. Horza's path takes him through derelict temples drifting in space, cannibalistic cults thriving in the ruins of dead worlds, massive orbital habitats reduced to blood-soaked battlefields, and deep into the bowels of the most grotesque and absurd parts of galactic society. Each setting serves as a stark contrast between the raw brutality of the Idorans and the cool detachment of the culture. And Horza, caught in between, is constantly forced to reassess his beliefs. One of the most arresting scenes takes place in the bowels of the Vivach Orbital, a colossal ring world about to be destroyed. As millions flee, Horza and the crew find themselves swept up in chaos. The scale of destruction is mind-boggling. Yet in the madness, we see the fragility of life and the sheer indifference of the universe. This isn't just action for action's sake. Banks forces us to look at how people behave when stripped of ideology, left only with the instinct to survive. Horza is no hero, and that's what makes him compelling. He's flawed, often wrong, and occasionally monstrous. But he's also deeply human. His hatred of the culture stems from a desire to believe in something greater than himself. Ironically, it's his journey through this savage galaxy that slowly exposes the very humanity he tries to deny. He begins to see cracks in the Idoran dogma. He starts to feel empathy for his culture enemies. He even forms bonds with the people he once would have killed without hesitation. The crew of the Clear Air Turbulence is a colorful, often dysfunctional mix of personalities. From Yalson, a fellow mercenary who develops a fragile connection with Horza, to Unaha Klosp, a hyper-intelligent, Drone with its own hidden agendas, the cast serves as a mirror to Horza's own inner conflict. Some offer loyalty, others betray him. All push him further into a reckoning with himself. Eventually, Horza reaches Shar's world. The climax is both brutal and intimate. Here, stripped of allies, illusions, and hope, Horza confronts not just the elusive culture mind, but the very essence of what he has believed in. The irony is thick. The mission he's sacrificed so much for turns out to be a tragic farce. The mind is indifferent to the war. The Drazon, those ancient guardians, offer no answers, and Horza, battered and broken, realizes that the certainty he clung to was a lie. His final moments are filled with ambiguity and quiet reflection. There's no grand speech, no heroic stand. Just a man who tried to serve a cause, only to discover too late that the cause never truly saw him. And yet, in those final breaths, there's a flicker of something more. Regret, maybe even redemption. Banks doesn't spoon-feed conclusions. He leaves readers with haunting questions. What is the cost of belief? Is a soul worth preserving if it means denying freedom? Can a machine be more humane than a man? These aren't just sci-fi musings. They're deeply relevant to our own world, where ideology, identity, and empathy often collide. Consider Phlebas is not a book about clean morals or heroic quests. It's about chaos, contradictions, and the brutal mess of existence. It's a space opera soaked in blood and philosophy. The action is relentless. The world-building is immense. The technology is dazzling. But at its core is a deeply human story of one man's futile attempt to find meaning in a war that doesn't care. If you're looking for simple good versus evil, look elsewhere. But if you want a visceral, mind-expanding journey through a galaxy that feels terrifyingly real, if you're ready to question your own values while watching entire civilizations burn, then consider Phlebas is your next obsession. It's the kind of audiobook that doesn't just entertain. It sinks into your thoughts and stays with you long after the credits roll. You won't just listen to Consider Phlebas, you'll live it. And when it's over, you'll be left staring into the void, wondering who you would have been in Horza's shoes, and whether you would have made the same choices. This is the beginning of the culture saga, but it's also a warning. A call to examine what we worship, what we fight for, and what we're willing to become in the process. Strap in. The galaxy awaits. If you want to listen full audiobook for free, link in description. Thank you.